By the way, I only come out to do interviews for people who are nominated for Critics' Choice Awards and Oscars.
Well, lucky me then. Lucky me.
Congratulations, brother. I mean,
Thanks,
seriously.
man. No,
This is,
I appreciate like, man, it takes a community to get nominated for this stuff. Like a lot of love. It's not, yeah. I'm just along for the ride because I feel just fortunate.
well, I mean, in a way, it's funny because it seems like you came out of nowhere, and it seems like
Mm,
you came out of nowhere. It's-
yeah,
do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
I mean, because you,
No, for sure.
yeah, but you
Yeah,
did.
it's funny. It's interesting. I know. I know. I mean, even the person that actually does come out of nowhere didn't come out of nowhere. It's like that type of thing. But in my case, it's like a lot of folks even they're like, "How did you make this film? It's so crazy." I'm like, "I've been making art in Alabama for 15 years, man. This is like not. It seems like it came out of nowhere, but." In the same way that a basketball player has a great game, but they've been practicing for fucking years, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
actually, it's interesting because they brought up hoop, and obviously you played hoop. And my question, I kind of almost, I love throwing this softball at you, but how does like your background in basketball, how does playing basketball translate into making a film? I know it does.
Yeah, it does. It does so much. Like photography and basketball, or in sports in general, are places in which like you dilate time, right? Like you're reading the visual field, looking for information. You're taking snapshots. You're using your body to manipulate space, and it's about choreography, and it's about little stations of movement. Like it's so. When I picked the camera up in my fifth year in college, it just made sense to me. Like it was, I couldn't necessarily make good images, but it was easy. Like I got it. I got it.
It's almost like a aha moment. You're like, ah,
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I was like, where's this been all my life? Oh, just right over there.
unbelievable. I mean, and again,
Yeah.
it was so. So I'll also say, I mean, I was joking about myself that like I had to be a junketeer for 10 years, but like when you're seeing three movies a week,
Oh my
it
God.
does become work. When I put your movie on, it takes a minute for me to go like, wow, okay, what's this? And I was literally, I mean, I'm honest here. You shot it so differently. Everything was different from the beginning. I was intrigued. I was like, I put my whiskey down. Okay, let's, like you grab us from hello, and it's the way you
Mm.
can you, and you actually answered this in other questions, but can you talk about the way you shot it and why someone like myself who's used to seeing so many movies goes, wait a second here, this is a little different.
Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of liken it to the way in which you see someone dance differently, where dance and it's familiar and you've done it yourself and like you've watched it, but like sometimes when someone moves a little differently, you're just like what is, why do, how, the camera is a Western invention, like it has a very specific language. And if you give, and it's really funny, if you give people of color access to anything, it's gonna be used differently because we have a different experience in the world. Everyone's use and connection to meaning and expression is tied to their experience as a human being and the things that they're trying to express. And so this film style and form comes out of my my exploration of what it means to be a black person and being dialogue with the history of cinema and the history of the camera, you know?
Yeah, I mean, they don't teach. I again, I liken it back to music. When I used to do these interviews with these pop stars, and they just have huge success, I'd say, and they would always say to me, they're like a common thing. They're like, there's no book, like there's no, you
There,
can't,
yeah,
like, how do you like, there's no book, like you,
exactly.
there's a book, but that ain't the book.
That's not the book. That's not the book. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. They didn't teach jazz in Juilliard when Juilliard was founded, you know? But jazz is jazz because some people got some instruments and they're like, I'm gonna play some music. And they were just themselves.
Dude, you were like Miles Davis with this film. Just
Oh my
saying.
God. I mean, and I'm a huge, as everyone is, but I'm a Miles man. Man. I
All right.
would I'll have Miles
I gotta
Davis like
ask.
playing on loop in my casket.
Well, I got unbelievable. That's hilarious. Is that in the directive?
That's
It's funny.
gonna
I
be in my
wanted to be
will. That's in my will.
For mine, I want a New Orleans, cast off. I want the band going down for. I don't care what I am. I want that. Um,
Yeah.
all right. Actually, you know what? Before I wrap up, I do want to ask you about music because music was in the film, but I'm just used to asking people about music. So,
Yeah.
talk to me a little bit. Let's pivot from Nickel Boys. Just tell me about your music. You mentioned jazz again, which makes
Mm.
sense that you're a filmmaker. Um, what did you play an instrument growing up? What did you gravitate to? Was it Motown? Was it R&B? Was it hip hop? Talk to me.
I mean, it's wild. Like I'm fortunate, I think, in that I grew up with one foot in the black community and one foot in everything else. Like I was born in Germany. My mother was born in France. Like my grandmother's German. And so I grew up in all black community and then in like seventh grade moved to all white community and then like started going to a black and so like I was like listening to everything from Sublime and 311 to DMX and uh, you know, to Michael Jackson. Like I was Aretha Franklin, to a Lady Gaga or something. It's just like it kind of makes no sense where you're kind of torn sonically because it's kind of difficult to listen to. Country music with my mom in the black community. You're like, Mom, turn that shit down. Like this is not working. This is not a good look. You
Did,
know.
did did you say it to her in French? How many languages do you speak?
I mean, I don't speak any of those languages. I wish.
Oh,
I wish. I speak some Spanish. But
okay.
how that'd be so sick if I spoke German and French and I was just like, oh, oui, oui, yeah, je m'appelle RaMell, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Dude, but by the way, it's a harder question. I'd like one of the DJs ask you, how do you sum up Nickel Boys? I'm like, ooh, I don't think there's a summing up, but
Nickel Boy some that's what it does, you know?
boom. Okay, the my last question with you is the future question. I ask it of everybody, not necessarily the future of the world, but more for you. What are you
Hmm.
thinking? What do you want to have? What's happening? What do you want to have happen?
Um, what I would like to have happen is for some angel donor to give me around 15 to 20 million dollars to explore some art projects that I truly believe can change the way in which we understand the world. But they're not necessarily going to be profitable, but I think that they have some deep agency on society and consciousness. So I'll just put that out there. One of you millionaires or billionaires, just give me a call.
So wait, 15, you said 15 to 20? Hang on, let me.
15 to 20 mil. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, 15 to
A
20 mil.
grant.
Okay, I got you. All right,
Yeah. And if
my
you add
brother.
another zero accidentally, it's fine. You know?
You don't ask for much, brother. Just
You
Oscar
know?
nominations, Critics' Choice
You know?
nominations. You don't ask for much. All right, I'm going to shut up now.